Hi guys, welcome back to Actually Adultish. I'm one of your hosts, Nina.
And I'm your other host, Christina, and thanks for joining us again today. Thank you to everybody who subscribed so far. If you haven't already, you should definitely subscribe, and you should leave a rating and a review on iTunes and Stitcher. And you should also follow us on Instagram because we have some exciting pictures that happen on Instagram.
Yeah,
recently.
we do a lot of throwbacks.
Yeah, we do a lot of throwbacks.
Embarrassing mostly.
Yeah, we had a good one with Nina and a camel the other day. But today I'm really excited because we have a very special guest. We have meditation teacher and professional voiceover artist, Angela Whittaker.
Woo!
Hey,
Applause, please.
Yes.
Wow, what an intro.
You are amazing.
Thank you. Oh my gosh.
So I'm super excited because I have known Angela since I was not born. Since conception.
It's true. Okay, but I'm really not that old.
No,
right?
she's not.
Just want you to know that.
She was young when I was young.
We're both still young. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to? How about you explain how we know each other?
Okay. Well, since I'm now 90 years old.
You're not.
I'm kidding.
She's young. And
Actually, Christina's mother and I met when I was in high school, and I took a part-time job after school at a dental office. Her mother was a dental hygienist at the time.
Oh.
And that was my first job ever.
Really?
And I would come in after school for like 2 hours and file charts and answer the phone and try and sneak and do my algebra homework when
Why
everybody
did you
was
decide
gone.
to work at a dentist office?
Well, actually, it was really close to my house. I could walk there. I could get dropped off from the bus on the way
Yeah.
home from school, work for a couple of hours, and then walk home.
It was mostly like clerical work, like being
Mostly
in the office.
clerical.
That's
but,
nice.
You know, as time progressed, I mean, I was there for 8 years. all
Oh,
the way
wow.
through.
That's
really
a
there that
career.
It was a total career before I even had a career. Like, I had a career when I was like 15.
That's awesome.
Professional admin.
Something like that. And then we had this really flaky dental assistant. Now, mind you, I worked for a periodontist. So this is like gum surgery and all this stuff.
Oh,
And
very specialized.
yeah. And so the gal in the back used to call in sick a lot. So at one point, the gentleman I worked for was like, you need to come assist me on this surgery. And I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh.
what are you kidding me?
How old were you?
I was probably like 17.
So you're like freaking out.
I am kind of
you're like-
freaking out. Although I sort of filled in to help like clean stuff in the back. I was used to kind of getting thrown into something. And
Okay, so you kind of saw the procedure sometimes.
yeah, and this was back in the day before you had to go through like this super specialized training to be like this dental assistant. They just
Kind
like
of sketchy. Just throw anyone back there.
I mean, I've been around it long enough, and I was like in house, and
Yeah.
you know, so and it was interesting because it was Neil Young of the band Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young.
Really?
Yeah, so he
Wow.
comes in, he's like, you know, I'm trying to like hold this little aspirator. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if I slip up and ruin this guy's vocal cords or whatever, like
gosh.
I'm gonna like tank this guy's career,
Yeah.
or whatever I was thinking.
It's double pressure.
Absolutely, but it all worked out.
Yeah. Wait,
That's
who are
good.
you doing? Was Bob doing?
No, it was Dr. John.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, it was just
So because
Was he your dentist?
You were working at Bob's office, right?
yeah. Well, because
Yeah.
there was two doctors in the same office, and
Yeah.
your mom worked for one, and I worked for the other.
Yeah. So Bob, my dentist, is also my godfather.
Oh no, different Bob.
Oh, different Bob.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I know
Oh.
your mom worked at a couple different
Why are there so many
offices.
Bobs?
I know. What the heck?
I don't know any Bobs now.
Your husband's gonna be Bob. Yeah. That's like fate.
That's like an old school name.
Yeah,
I guess.
it is.
Sorry for any Bobs out there.
People
We're
go
not
by
trying.
Robert now. It's more
Yeah, right.
professional.
Well, see, that was me. So Christina grew up calling me Auntie Angie.
Yeah.
And then I went to college. It was like, oh, my name is Angela now. Like, that's my name. I didn't want anybody calling me Angie. Like, I didn't even turn around for that anymore.
Oh my gosh.
And then I'd go home for the holidays and it'd be like, Angie. I'm like, oh, brother, here we go.
Angela was
Angela.
always my like my cool aunt. Like I remember growing up and thinking I loved when you would come over for Christmas. We used to have these big Christmas parties, and I'll never forget
Christmas
this.
Eve.
My favorite thing that she got me. I don't even know how old I was. I was really young. You got me lipstick. And
Oh, your mom probably screamed
way
at me.
before I should have ever had lipstick, and it was in the shape like it looked like 3 little paint cans on top of each other, and it was bright pink and had like fake pink paint dripping down the side, and I was obsessed with it, and I was so excited. And I remember you're like, girlfriend, put it on. Oh my gosh.
Your mom's probably glaring at me like, I don't think she should be wearing that.
Oh my
I'm like, it's just for play.
I loved it.
Is that the aunt that taught you how to do makeup?
No.
Heck no.
I'm teaching her now.
No, heck yeah. I'm like, yeah, I've been doing this like the same way for the last, I don't know how long. So I need some tips.
Yeah, no, but so then you and my mom just became really close.
Well, your mom was like family for me. When your parents, one of their first homes, like as they were kind of bebopping around the Bay Area, just they buy a house, fix it up. Like they've always been so great with that. I used to house it for them quite a lot.
Did you really?
Yeah. And it was great. You know, I'd have like, you know, at my house, there was lots going on. I got to go to your mom and dad's house while they go out of town and be nice and quiet.
Yeah.
And I could just hang out and write in my journal.
Kind of like what I do for you now.
Yeah, absolutely. See, we're keeping with the family tradition.
Yeah. That's awesome.
It's so
Family
awesome.
business.
Yeah.
So
So
you're
just sort of, you know, some things in life are just organic and they unfold. And the ones that sort of stay with you and continue to journey with you, I mean, what a blessing that is, right?
Yeah,
that you connect with
absolutely.
these people.
Definitely.
And then, you know, Christina grew up to be this amazing young lady.
She's amazing.
Oh my
best
gosh.
friend.
And I love having her so close now.
I know. I'm so happy you're here.
I'm so
because
happy you're
when
here.
I first got here, you know, I was so unhappy. And I had such a hard time. And Angela was like my rock.
Aw.
Where do you live? Right? Do you live in the
Don't
LA
make me cry.
area?
Yeah, I'm not far from you guys. I'm in Santa Monica.
Oh no! Oh, that's such
Yeah,
a beautiful
she's-
place to live.
She's so close.
Wait, so what was baby Christina like?
Oh my God.
She was adorable. Well, because she's always been
adorable. I've
adorable,
seen
right?
pictures, yeah.
I mean, she's still adorable.
She looked like a child actress.
Oh, she's like this little cherub.
I wish that my mom had put me in a commercial. Remember when she used to put
Seriously?
my
Oh
on
my
my
gosh,
head?
she used to have like these little pebbles, like from
Yeah.
Pebbles and Bam Bam.
Oh
you guys
my
are probably too
gosh.
young for that, but you've probably
No,
seen
I
like,
remember that.
yeah,
like
And
a fountain, right?
Yeah.
I used to
yes,
get that
with like a
too,
little
right?
bow in there.
That's so
And she
cute.
had
my palm tree.
Oh my gosh, did you whip it around?
I don't even remember.
And these big eyes and this beautiful smile. Remember when you were doing that like Irish dancing?
Oh my gosh, I really want to see that.
Oh my
still.
I'll
gosh,
look
she
it up.
is amazing.
I was good.
You need
What
to
do you
send
mean
me some
was?
videos.
I mean, I don't do it now.
She was
I
superb,
know, but
I do
probably.
remember it. That was so fun.
She would go to all these tournaments. She won like all these awards.
Oh my
Like I'd come
gosh.
home at Christmas time and be like, okay, sister, what's the new routine? And she'd like do it around the kitchen. And I'm like, holy moly.
My parents hated me because I had like they have soft shoe and hard shoe, and the hard shoe like you pound on the floor.
Yeah.
And so my dad built me a board because I was ruining the floors because I would practice on the hardwood floor and I'd scrape them up, and he got so mad. So we had to go buy this big plywood and like make me my own personal board, and I'd go out there and pound for hours. And my sister would get so mad.
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
my
I
gosh.
imagine you still remember some of the.
Oh, I
some
totally
of
do. Maybe if
we
you're
gotta
lucky,
see
I'll
that.
show you.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I would love.
No, but okay, let's get to
Okay.
why we asked you here because
Yes.
Angela's
Thank
one
you,
of
I'm so
the most-
honored.
She's like our girlfriend.
She's one of the
She's
most
just-
interesting people I've ever met. I tell everybody about you because I just think you're so interesting and amazing.
You do have a really
Oh
like.
my gosh.
I feel like you've experienced everything that happens to multiple characters in a show, like in one life. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
You
Wow.
have so many. Okay, let's start from the beginning. I
Okay.
guess. Okay, how long have you been doing voiceovers?
All right, so this is a great story. So I've been a singer all my life, and my whole thing was like, I meant to do something with my voice. I meant to do something with my voice, right? So, sang at my high school graduation, sang at a few of my girlfriends' weddings. It was like my thing with my dad. He would play the guitar and I would sing, and he would sing too. But anyhow, I always got the lead.
Of course.
He did the harmony parts,
Yeah.
which was great. But then down the road, I was like, why didn't you ever teach me how to harmonize? I had to learn it later, and it was so hard. And I wasn't that great at it, right?
He didn't want you to steal the entire spotlight.
No, he gave me the entire spotlight. And he was like, here, honey, you do it. I'll harmonize
He
with
thought
you.
were perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but excuse me. So I started off singing, and then, great story. So college boyfriend didn't go that well. And my best friend, my best.
Do they ever?
No, but why do we think they're like the one? It's I want to slap everybody. I'm like, trust me, sister, this is not going to be the one.
We talk about this.
We do. And I've given her multiple talks about let me just, I want you to be in this place, but I just want to give you a little bit of a dose of reality and how this is going to unfold 10 years from now.
No, we're always on the same page because I go over and I complain about how people, I'm like, why is everybody trying to settle down?
No, you're the
right
only
now?
one that had the same mentality or has, being a few years younger than I am. Sort of on the same page in that, but we get caught up in the moment. And I think it's very important to be in that moment, but don't make that moment be your forever. Mm-hmm. Allow yourself to say, hey, okay, this is the experience I'm having now. Mm-hmm. And this is a great guy, but he may not be the one that I sign up with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So just kind of take it as a grain of salt. Okay, so voiceover. I broke up with my college boyfriend. I was devastated. My best friend was living in Arizona. So I flew out to just spend 2 weeks with my best friend. Mm-hmm. Just to get away from my life and just have a breathing.
Where were you
moment.
living at that time?
So I was in the Bay Area. I was back and forth between the Bay Area and Sacramento.
Okay.
So she was in Phoenix. So I flew out to spend 2 weeks with her. And she's like, you know what? We're really swamped at my office. So could you just maybe come in to work with me? Then we can spend more time together. Uh-huh. She's like, I already told my boss that, we could use some extra help. We'd love to have you. I said, all right. I mean, all this sitting around is wallowing in my sadness for being miserable, thinking that my life was over. And this guy was a total jerk.
Frat boy?
No, he was kind of in the working world already, but he was just a little bit too full of himself. And I
thought he was a hot shot.
Totally. And I was like,
too much.
Oh my gosh, Angela, get some self-esteem and just walk away from this guy who's just not the one for you.
Yeah.
So I did. So I end up in Arizona working at my girlfriend's office. And mind you, she was working for a company that produced medical television programs, like living with diabetes or living with cancer or whatever. And they were a startup. And they were too poor to pay anybody to do the advertisements for our shows. Yeah. So knowing that I had experience in the vocal booth, one of the owners was like, Angela, here's a script. Now go in there and record this thing for one of our clients. And I was like, oh, well, okay. So he gave me the copy and I went in and I was like, can't even remember, diabetic cough syrup, da-da-da-da-da. And I just did this thing and they loved it. So I started doing all the vignettes for our shows.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah. So it was really pretty cool.
How old were you at the time?
I was probably my mid-20s.
Oh, okay.
Because I was on the 7-year college plan, changed my major 3 times. I was like, oh, I don't know. Whatever. Because I didn't go straight into college. I modeled in San Francisco for 2 years. And I thought, well, I really should go, get some education.
Yeah,
I can't just be a young, pretty gal.
Can we talk about that? Why
sure.
did you stop modeling?
Well, for that very reason, in that I didn't want to be like, oh, hey, pretty girl.
Yeah.
The tall, pretty girl that could prance around and model next year's, sample clothing line. I wanted to get an education. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really important.
Yeah.
So that's what I took a hiatus. I went back. I did some on-camera stuff after that when I was in Nashville and whatnot. But my passion had sort of swung now to the other arena of my life.
Yeah.
That's
so anyway,
crazy how we never expect that to happen too, where our passions would take us.
Yeah. No, and that's a great point that you bring up because I think a lot of things in our life are stepping stones as to where we're going for the next chapter.
Yeah.
And I think, and we'll talk about that in a minute, where my meditation has been such a huge factor in helping me stay grounded and get really good clarity about where I'm going and what I want. Mm-hmm. In that if we're boxing ourselves in and we're only seeing one goal at the end of the tunnel, or it's only going to unfold in one way, me being attached to, okay, well, I'm meant to be like this singer and I'm moving to Nashville and I'm going to do the whole singing thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then that never really sort of happened for me. And all this voiceover stuff kept coming. I had to let go of my attachment as far as well, maybe I'm not meant to go this route. Maybe thinking I was meant to do something with my voice all of my life, maybe that's voiceover over here. And had I just stayed really stuck and really just sort of, what's the word I'm looking for? Having tunnel vision of what my end game was supposed to be, I'd probably still be there, toughing it out. Who knows? Maybe something would have happened. But now realizing the person that I am and being on the road all the time and constantly having to be on, and my personality, as much as I'm this outgoing, I say I'm an outgoing spirit with, I'm an extroverted spirit with an introverted soul. Mm-hmm. And
I can see that.
right? And that would have been probably too much for me. So things happen for a reason, but we have to pay attention. And that's where the meditation came in for me, was with allowing me to sort of pay attention and to listen to what I was being drawn to and trust my instincts and my intuition and where I was going.
Gut, yeah.
That's one of the things I admire most about you, is just like, you're so open to what's going to happen in the future and not married to any one thing. It's so hard. I mean, for me, and I feel like a lot of people, like, you have a plan. You know me, I'm so regimented and planned. And then,
You're like, I look at her and I see like a lot of the younger version of myself.
Yeah.
In a very positive way, but also there's certain things, I get it.
And it's like, when something doesn't go according to plan, I'll be like freaking out on how do I fix this, versus, I mean, I come to you, things that have happened in my life, I come to, and you just have such a different perspective, and you're just like, Christina, like, it's gonna work out, just follow the path that you're on, kind of, you know, just like kind of
so
go
nice
with it
to
and
have,
fix it out, and it's gonna be okay. You have this amazing way of just like calming me down and feeling like anything, I'm gonna cry. Like,
am I gonna cry too? Like, we're gonna cry on this podcast together?
no, seriously. Like, because like when I was going through my health stuff, like, you were like seriously like my angel, like,
oh my god,
because I just felt like I couldn't. I'm sorry, I'm like seriously crying. Like, I felt like I just didn't know what to do, and you just were one of the only people that I felt like I could get through it, you know? So,
well, thank you.
I just admire that so much about you, and so many people. It's hard for a lot of us to just kind of go where life is going to take us, you know?
Yeah.
But and
it's such an important skill.
Oh, sweetheart, thank you so much for just, you know, sharing that with me, and and, you know, my gratitude towards you for just stepping up and taking such good care of yourself and finding out what's gonna work for you. And I feel that we're all here to help each other. And that's what I hear. I really truly believe that. And if anything, if I just wanted to bestow upon you from some of my life experiences, like, hey, you know, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And we will get through this. It's like we're all here to sort of just pay it forward.
I know, I love it. You just like put a calming sense. Yeah. You know?
Aww.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
No, that's
honey.
amazing.
Yeah. So you did.
Okay, so voiceover.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back on track. Sorry. It was good, though.
I love these little sidelines.
I love this.
So the company folds in Arizona, and I start thinking, well, now maybe there's something to this voiceover thing. So I got my first agent in a very part-time market in Scottsdale. I said, forget that crazy guy back in California. He so does not deserve me. Starting to kind of build up my confidence again, and looking within my soul and realizing that, you know what, I'm the master of my own sail here, and I'm co-creating this reality. And so about the same time that I really, so I moved to Arizona full time, and I took a job with this company. And then when the company didn't make it, I got a temp job, and then I started getting voiceover work through this agent.
And he found you.
And actually, I sought out the agent, but then they were like, wow, we love this, and we love what you're doing. And mind you, I'd only had experience working at this company, but I'd had enough experience by that point that I was like, I knew kind of what I was doing, right? And listen, a lot of times it's baptism by fire. And I think one of the best sayings that was shared with me is like, fake it till you make it. So I would show up at a session acting like I had been there 100 times before. And I had some moments like I was freaking out, and I would run to the bathroom and call my agent and be like, what do I do about this?
Yeah.
But it all worked out. And meanwhile, I had taken a meditation course as an elective in college, and it was one of like my last electives, and it was really just about mindfulness and breathing awareness and guided visualizations. And I've always really been like on a spiritual path. I grew up in a really religious environment, and I like to think that that was the conduit for me to say, okay, I'm going to take what works for me, and then I'm going to let go of what doesn't. And I didn't want to be so boxed in. And growing up in the Bay Area next to San Francisco, you know, I was privy to a lot of different lifestyle choices and a lot of stuff going on around me, and realizing that, you know, who am I to judge what anybody else is doing? So I think my upbringing, where I was raised and how I was raised, had a lot to do with creating the person that I am. And just not coming from a place of judgment, and just allowing people to be who they are. And it served me really well.
Yeah.
I love that.
So So then how did you get more into meditation and yoga? So what happened
Yeah.
next
Okay.
with
So
that?
I'm in Arizona and now I'm doing voiceover and I'm working part-time at this other job. And I had been given a copy of one of Deepak Chopra's books. It's called The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. And I opened it up and I started reading it. And it was so powerful for me that I had to close the book and put it back up on the bookshelf, because I'm like, if I dive into this book and if I start doing what's in here that I knew on a deep level was where I needed to go, like spending time in silence every day and, the law of least effort, not pushing things, going more with the flow. Like I knew if I started embracing that I would have to really make some changes. And so for the first few weeks, I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And then the book kept calling at me. And it wasn't really the book. It was just what he was saying in the book that was hitting home. It was hitting some places inside of me that knew that was where I wanted to go, what I needed to do. So I picked it back up and I said, all right, here we go. The law of least effort, your dharma, what is your purpose in your life? Coming from a place of detachment, all of those things. So I really started getting into, he was talking about this meditation and spending time in silence every day. And I was like, well, what kind of technique is he talking about? So I started doing some research. And at this point, I'm now deciding that I want to go to Nashville. I do want to be that singer. I'm going to take the voiceover skills with me. And I'm going. I had a really good friend that was there. And he's like, Angela, if you want to do this, you can't just be in a small pond. Because I was singing around Arizona and winning some little contests and doing some stuff. And then met another guy. And he was
always a guy.
Always a guy. And they always want to
I always want to nail you down.
Exactly. He was like, well, I don't mind if you want to pursue your singing in Arizona, but I don't know about Nashville. And I'm like, now I was like too far down the road to be like
deciding for you.
Absolutely. So I said, well, I'm packing everything up and I'm moving to Nashville.
Yeah.
So I did.
Good.
I love
did.
that. I think most girls can learn from you.
Yeah.
Packed up, put my stuff, sold some stuff, put my stuff in my little RX-7, whatever, and drove cross country with a friend. Or actually, I did.
Oh, that's fun.
That's
road
gonna
trips.
be us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that though. Like I feel like a lot of girls like kind of plan their lives, like maybe like a section of their lives kind of around their, boyfriend or
they feel like I can't
like,
pursue some dream because
So like what advice do you have?
Listen, that's what Christine and I have talked about this a number of times.
Biggest pet peeve.
And it's interesting because my parents got married very young and they had children very young. And one of the best things that my dad ever said to me was, Angela, you have the rest of your life to be married and have children. Go do you.
Yeah.
So
Hallelujah.
I did. I moved cross country 3 times. I backpacked through Europe when I was 19. I ended up on some meditation retreat in India with 500 other people.
Wow.
Which we need to talk about.
We'll talk about.
'Cause that's a big one.
I just started saying yes.
Yeah.
Like just say yes.
Yeah.
And if
you're so fearless. Like you are so
I feel
fearless.
like that should be the name of your book or a movie based on you, because like what is it? Just say yes. I love that.
just say yes.
I love that.
Just say yes.
Yeah. No, seriously. But
But I had to come to terms within myself and get enough. I had to start filling up myself from the inside and realizing that what was going on around me was not going to affect me like I used to let it affect me.
Yeah.
How did you do that?
That was where meditation came in for me.
Okay.
My meditation practice literally, like I look back now and I've been practicing meditation now. I'm not going to brag, but I'm just going to sort of say, and I'm not that old. Every day, twice a day, like I could probably count on 2 of my hands if I've missed a meditation. Like maybe
How long do you meditate for? Like at a time?
Probably like 30 minutes in the morning and 30 minutes in the late afternoon to early evening every day. Now I've missed one here or there because life happens, but 20 years into this now, like 20 years, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, would I be enjoying the balance and the perspective and just the place of being in my life if I hadn't started this practice then?
Yeah.
And that's why whatever I can do to help give back in this way, because it's been so profound for me. I mean, I wouldn't be enjoying the success in my voiceover career. I'm convinced if I hadn't brought some of the groundedness, that my meditation practice has given me into this crazy world of advertising and entertainment.
Yeah.
Because it can be you can feel like you're in a spin cycle sometimes. And then you come from a place of, oh, they didn't pick me. Why not me? And then it becomes very competitive of like, well, I auditioned for that job. Like, what was wrong with my read? How come, and then you can really go down that crazy train of just all of that rather than realizing that, hey, there's always enough to go around.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's interesting now because I'm switching up some of my clients. Well, actually, they're switching me up.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. You have a great ride for like a number of years. And then all of a sudden a new ad agency comes in and they're like, you know what? We just want to revamp our whole story and what we're saying and how we're saying it. And we're going to get new voices for that.
And it's all business, right?
It's all business.
That's what they say. So like in audition rooms, how do you stay focused when there's like a ton of other people with you? Because I go to auditions as well. And like, what are some tips for you to just like stay focused and like very calm and not nervous as much?
Well, that's a great question. Thank you for asking that. It comes back to what I now share in my meditation classes, and I call it present moment intention setting. Present moment intentions. It's not even about this week, this month, this year. It's about, okay, before I walk into that audition, I tell myself, what state of mind do I want to be in? What am I going to let affect me? Or just how do I want to approach this? And what sort of mindset do I want to be in? And so I'll sit down and say, okay, I'm coming from a place of clarity. This is my one chance today to make some money and to really hit it out of the ballpark. So whatever's going on around me, I'm going to stay really clear. I'm going to stay honed in on what it is that I'm doing and not get caught up on what's going on in the room or who's in the room.
Right.
And feed into that energy of looking around and seeing who's there and what's going on and just staying really clear and keeping myself calm and relaxed because I don't give my best audition when I'm going in there and I'm nervous or I'm thinking anything other than what's taking me away from that moment. So the more that I can stay present, just be in that moment and knowing that when I walk out of that audition door, I can invite the rest of my day back in. It's fine. But for that moment, and it can be for an audition or anything else that you're going into.
Yeah.
What do you want to create in that experience? Like this morning before I came over to sit down with the two of you, I was like, okay, universe, I'm putting out the intention of just being with these beautiful young ladies and supporting them in their journey and what sort of energy I wanted to bring in to help facilitate that this morning.
Yeah.
It can be for anything. Yeah.
When you first started getting into meditation, how did you learn, I guess? Did you do guided things?
Okay,
or
so
did you just sit there and figure it out?
Great question.
Yeah.
Again, back to that elective course in college. I took this class and we did all kinds of stuff. Anything from mindfulness meditation, which is just paying attention to your breath, candle meditations. We did walking meditations. We did all kinds of stuff. So I start reading 7 Spiritual Laws of Success, and Deepak talking about being in silence every day. And I started doing some research, and he was talking about a technique called primordial sound meditation. So primordial sound meditation is a mantra-based meditation technique. And the more research I did, because he had started with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi before he opened up the Chopra Center and the Transcendental Meditation movement. So what's very similar between the two techniques is they're mantra-based. So what's a mantra? A mantra is a Sanskrit word that basically means instrument of the mind. It's just the vehicle or the tool that you use to go within. Studies were showing that people that were practicing mantra-based meditation techniques were oftentimes getting to more deep and still places within. They were transcending their thoughts because a lot of the other techniques keep your mind in a very active place.
Yeah.
True.
When you introduce a mantra, which is basically a vibrational tone that means nothing to your mind, it gives your mind something to sort of play with. It's a thought, but it's a thought that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So you sit down, you close your eyes, you start thinking your mantra, and it's like, oh, I have to go to the dry cleaners. Mantra. Oh my gosh, I have that phone call at 5:00 for so-and-so. What happens after a while is the thoughts start to dissipate, the mantra takes over, and because we use it for its vibrational purposes, it helps us sort of plop down within. We slip into that silence between our thoughts. Because between every one of your thoughts, there's a tiny minutia, a tiny space of silence between one thought and the next.
Yeah.
In meditation, all we're doing is elongating that silence. And I was an insomniac. My last 2 years of college were rough. Like I literally was like, am I going to have to go on medication? Like, and my girlfriend's like, no, absolutely not. So
Good girlfriend.
thank you. And listen, sometimes we have to do things and we have to do things and we have to do things and we make a choice that works for us. And I wasn't dissing, and I don't diss anybody that has to, go to some sort of a pharmaceutical for a certain period of time.
Yeah.
But for me, I felt like I could really make a difference by doing some changes in my personal life. So I found a teacher who was teaching this primordial sound meditation. I took the course and everybody was making bets on me. You're going to sit down for twice a day and not do anything and not talk, not you, like little miss, go. Like I still have that about me, but not like I used to.
Yeah.
Holy moly's. I couldn't get out of my own way. It was just like, and list for list and organizing this and just it was just like, oh my gosh, take a Valium. Like, chill out, girl.
Yeah.
So meditation became my Valium. Literally. So 3 weeks into this practice, because I said, well, if they think I'm not going to do it, I'm going to show them because I'm a little competitive.
Yeah.
So I did it. And then 3 weeks in, without making any other change in my life, I started sleeping through the night
Wow.
for the first time in years.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on. And what's got to be this meditation thing because I haven't changed anything else.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
I am hooked. And then so I was on the teacher's path, like probably straight away, because I'm like, holy moly's. Like, if this is what it's doing for me, like just to share it with my family and my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was like my new fix.
Wow.
Yeah.
So then where did that lead you to next?
Okay. So then I go down the teacher's path and, I become a meditation teacher. My parents are the first two people that I teach how to meditate.
Yeah.
And my dad's this, electrical engineer who wants everything mapped out in bell-shaped curves. And how it's going to look over here and how it's going to look in here and where is it going to be in the middle and what if I start meditating and want to just quit my job and end up on some hill in India with my backpack? I'm like, well, I guess then we're going to come to India and visit you on your hill with your backpack,
I mean, you did end up in India.
I did. He did. So meditation unfolds. And then I'm in Nashville pursuing music. And then I'm getting better voiceover gigs. And then I'm really using my meditation practice every day to sit down and get clear about who I am and what I want and what do I want this journey to be and what do I want to create? Because now it's like, wow, a whole other world starts opening up. Like, I can do anything.
Yeah.
I can be anybody I want to be.
Yeah.
So I end up in India on this meditation retreat, which, listen, I tell anybody, you want your life to turn upside down and inside out, take a trip to India.
Was India before or after the tour?
The what tour?
With Martina.
With Martina. It was before the tour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, so I end up in India and I really bond with, I knew of a couple of friends that were going. And my mom came as my companion. And later she told me that the only reason she decided to go with me is because she didn't want me going by myself.
Oh my God.
I'm like, you decided to go on a meditation retreat to India for 3.5 weeks, however long we were there, because you didn't want me flying there by myself. I'm like, I had friends that I could have
whatever, at least she went.
She went.
Yeah,
and it was all meant to be. So I had a friend back in Nashville that I had met, and I heard he was going to be there with his partner. My friend Curtis and his partner Desmond. They've been together for I think like 13 years at that time, a gay couple. And so I end up on this meditation retreat. We're having just an incredible time. It's like junior high school all over again. Like, oh, save me a seat in meditation class. Oh, put your mat next to mine in yoga class.
Like red.
Right? I'm like, oh, hurry, run for the bus. We're going on a tour of the ashram. And like, Curtis became like the Purell king. Like, you want some Purell?
Oh
Do you
my
want some
God.
Purell? Like the hand sanitizer man.
Yeah.
I swear, I'm like, did you bring a case of this in your suitcase?
Oh my God.
Literally, because he was like,
When my friend was there, she said it was very, like, she said she's never been to a dirtier place. place.
Oh, wow.
That's what she said.
Yeah, literally. I'm like, do you put this Purell like all over your body in the morning?
Yeah,
He's like,
probably.
That would be me.
I don't have enough for that. I don't have enough for that, but it's a good idea.
Oh my gosh.
So the most amazing experience ever, like in India. I mean, come on. We were doing our sun salutations in this hall in the morning for our yoga classes, like overlooking the Taj Mahal.
That's literally
Wow.
a dream. I wish.
like I was
wish
pinching
could go.
myself, like
Yeah.
pinching myself.
Oh my
And then we go to
gosh.
like meditation class and like all sit down together and then go have like our hot chai teas, like out on the
my
veranda
gosh,
at
that sounds
nighttime with
so
like
amazing.
the smell of the marigolds and like
Yeah.
it was, phenomenal. It was life changing. So flash forward to them sharing over hot chai teas one night, like, well, we want to have a baby. I'm like, well, that's going to be kind of hard because you're both guys,
Yeah.
you know? And they're like, yeah. Well, we met this lady at Camp Wheatgrass. And I'm like, Camp what?
Yeah.
Camp
They were-
Wheatgrass?
They were always going to some sort of like new, cool, groovy, like health retreat. But like, yeah, and, you know, she's gonna give us her answers. And I'm like, well, that's nice, but what are you gonna do with them?
Yeah.
You know? And so it was fascinating. It was fascinating them telling me about this journey that they wanted to take. And I'm like, well, who's gonna carry your baby for you? Like, I'd never known anybody who needed a surrogate.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, that's still, you know, the piece of the puzzle that's missing. Holy moly's. So I go back to my room that night. I can't stop thinking about what they're talking about. And I have like this dream, which was more like a vision. It's like one of those things where you like wake up in the middle of the night and you pinch yourself because you're like, did that really happen?
Yeah.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Or you sort of freak out a little bit.
Yeah.
So I had a dream. And in that dream was me in this white sort of dress, billowy dress. And I was like pregnant, like, I'll carry your baby. I'll carry your baby. And I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
like literally, I woke up, pulled up my night. I was like, this cannot be happening. What's going on?
Yeah.
And I told my mom about it the next morning. And she was like, whoa, what a trip.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, I think that was my words. I don't think my mom said, what a
Yeah.
trip. She just said, well, honey, that's very interesting. I wonder what it means. And I didn't tell anybody else about it. And that was it.
Yeah.
So like a long story short, I didn't tell them till like 2 months later because they were going down the journey and they're like, everything's falling into place that we don't know who's going to carry for us. And then out of my mouth comes, well, you know, I might be willing to throw my hat into the ring to carry for you. And I'm like, what am I saying? What am I doing? And then Curtis is like, what? I'm like, yeah, I don't even know what I don't even know why I just said that.
Yeah.
But I had this dream. You what? I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to fess up. And so a year later, I was pregnant with their twins.
Oh.
See, this is like prime example of like you just letting life take you where it takes you.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, like,
Well, yeah.
it's incredible.
I love it.
Oh my gosh, you guys. And then partway through, like not even partway through, like I get pregnant. I'm having like the worst 2 months of my life. I feel like I'm going to die. And I'm like, I can't do this. How am I going to tell them now that I can't do this?
Yeah.
Like, so there were some major meltdowns. But it all worked out in the end. And we had 2 beautiful, healthy boys. We filmed a lot of it. It really started as a personal video diary for myself. And then cameras got bigger and events got bigger and the guys got involved. And we ended up making a documentary about our journey.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
So, but in the interim, we did a first round of in vitro. It didn't work. And one of my good friends in Nashville, Martina McBride, was going on the road for the summer. And I had met her through my former business partner. And she's like, hey, why don't you come on the road and do some meditation and do some yoga for us? It was the girls' night out tour. It was her and Reba and
Oh my God, Reba.
yeah, and Carolyn.
That's my favorite.
Yeah, and Carolyn Dawn Johnson and Sarah Evans at the time. And it was like 6 or 8 weeks. I can't remember, but it was an amazing journey. But meanwhile, I had told, her and her husband are really dear friends of mine. And I had sat down with them before we went on the road. I said, well, listen, this is what I'm thinking of doing. And which I did to all the close people in my life. Like I'm thinking of caring for I didn't know it was going to be twins. I signed up for one.
Yeah.
That was a big surprise.
Whoa.
Yeah. Whoa. Hello. I'm going to be as big as a tray. So we did the in vitro and it didn't work. And I was on the road with her and had to sort of detox from all of the hormone drugs they were giving me and all of that. And it was pretty terrible. And she was just so supportive. And so then we got back off of the road that summer. It was a great experience.
How long was that for?
It was, I think, like 6 or 8 weeks. we toured like some places I'd never been to in the United States. Well, because you get on a tour bus,
Yeah.
and you travel at night to get to the next place after a show. So you wake up in some new town, in some new state, in some new city, and you're like, wow, it's a trip. It's like
and
you're
where
like
are
time
we?
traveling. It's like, yeah, it really is. But it was an amazing experience. We had a super fun time that summer. I got to see a lot of wonderful places and a lot of fun little talks over glasses of wine at nighttime. Just being out there on the road and actually realizing what an incredible gift and talent she has, and what a commitment you have to make once you sign up for that, because you live on the road. She raised this beautiful family of hers in this completely balanced, wonderful environment out there. And I've seen them grow up to be just beautiful young ladies like yourself. I don't get to see them as much, but so then we came back. We did in vitro round number 2, and they put 2 embryos in. They got an egg donor because I wasn't willing to donate my eggs, because I'm like, whoa, I cannot show up at Christmas and see mini me running around.
Yeah, totally.
So and there that all happened. And then after right before the twins were coming along, I met another guy. These dang guys. But at least this was the conduit, this one, to sort of help me start thinking about getting into the voiceover full time, because as much as I loved being in Nashville and singing and trying to do my own thing, it wasn't really happening for me. And the voiceover stuff was.
Yeah.
So after I had the twins, I got a meeting with an amazing agent in LA who very synchronistically had adopted a little boy from Vietnam 2.5 years before.
Wow.
And was going to go down the surrogate route because he had a partner as well. And we had a lot in common to talk about. And I swear that my audition was sitting in his office talking about all this. And he's like listening to my voice, hearing my story, listening to my voice, hearing my story. So I got like the best agent in the industry because of my internal knowingness of I was worthy of it, that I could do it, and why not me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where a meditation practice came back in, because again, it's like tapping into your best friend like all the time, saying, of course you can, of course you can, of course you can.
What was the hardest part about being a surrogate?
Oh my gosh. The hardest part for me, I think, was I had to surrender to the experience, because I had never been pregnant before. And I had, and that was a lot of the reason why we worked with this agency, and we were the first ones with the case like ours, which was very, very cutting edge, in that most surrogates go through this whole extensive not training process, but a screening process, which I did, but I never thought I was going to be a surrogate. We kind of came to them with all of the pieces of our puzzle together.
Yeah.
I think I just really had to surrender to not being able to control the outcome, which, looking back, I think I was naive in a lot of ways, because there's a lot of things that could have gone very seriously wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and these aren't even my babies.
Yeah. It's like such a big responsibility. That's why I'm like, I don't even know how you made this decision. Like, I can't even imagine waking up and being like, I'm gonna carry some twin, like I'm gonna carry a baby, like, it's just so random.
And a part of me looks back and I'm like, was I crazy? I must have been a little bit crazy. But I think part of it was that I just had this knowingness, like we were meant to take this journey together, and that everything was going to be okay. And it really was. Because this is the crazy thing, ladies. I found out 3 years ago that I had an atrial septal defect. And an atrial septal defect is a hole in your heart that you're born with, which I had no idea that I had. And I never would have been able to carry these twins had I known that. It was undiagnosed most of my life, because it can be fatal.
Yeah, that's scary.
And to think that I went through this experience, and I'm like, but I wouldn't have gone through so just life happens. But I tell people, listen, and Deepak is a great reminder of this, in that you have a choice, and your choice can either be based on fear or it can be based on love. And because I think I was so into the positiveness of what this experience could be, but I wasn't focused on what it couldn't be.
Yeah.
And I wasn't letting my fear hold me back. But I'm not saying you just jump into things blindly. Like you have to do your homework and your research and stuff like that. Like you can't just be like, oh, la, 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 la.
Yeah. You can be totally ignorant.
No, you can't. You have to educate yourself.
Yeah.
And then you have to trust your intuition. I mean, there's a reason that we're given those voices inside. Now, whether we listen to them or not, oh, he's going to change, or, oh, this is going to be like this, rather than, no.
Yeah.
And that's where the meditation has come in, because now I listen to that voice. I don't longer say, oh, go away. I'm like, what?
Right.
Yeah.
What are you saying? What's going on here? I listen to it, and it has served me on so many levels.
I need to get this book.
I know. Okay, whose idea was it to make the film, the documentary?
Okay, so it started as a personal video diary for myself. And then the guys got involved. And then, like I said, the cameras got bigger, the events got a little more, it sort of just organically created itself.
Yeah.
So,
do you want to explain about Curtis and Desmond?
okay, so Curtis and Desmond, who are, have become
Amazing.
my second family and
Yeah.
are so amazing. So Desmond is an incredibly accomplished music producer and songwriter. He actually used to have a solo career as well. And Curtis has a great background in theater. They met in New York while Curtis was pursuing a career in theater, and Desmond was there working on a music project. And I mean, I'm talking to the likes of like John Bon Jovi, Ricky Martin, Kiss, Aerosmith, Cher, Alice Cooper.
Wow.
Like a lot of heavy hitters.
Yeah.
Totally.
And Desmond's really helped them create sort of their sound,
Yeah.
and responsible for co-writing a lot of their big hits.
Yeah.
And
Bon Jovi is...
Bon Jovi is the godfather
Yes.
to
Oh,
our
wow.
twins.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. That's awesome.
Yeah, and what a super nice
legend.
guy. I mean, and him and his wife and their family. Great guy. So, what were you asking me again? Now I'm totally flaking
I
out.
was just asking you to like explain Curtis and Desmond and whose idea it was to start the
Oh yeah, so the
and-
film. So I guess we ended up having all this footage, and we're like, well, maybe we should tell our story. And so that's what we decided to do. We had like over, oh my gosh, like 100 or 300, like some crazy amount of footage.
Yeah.
Home movies and backstory. And so a documentary was made, and it's called The Story of Roman and Nero. And it had to go through a lot of different sort of incarnations before it landed at that. And we started submitting it to film festivals, and we started getting invited, and we started winning awards. And we started going on the circuit. And
It's a really good movie. I got to go to the premiere in San Francisco.
oh my gosh, it was so
That was
fun
so
having
fun.
them there.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. And, my dad, we lost my dad, unfortunately, to a heart problem while we were in post on this movie. And I got to sit in this theater in San Francisco next to where I grew up on Father's Day. It was the first time I had seen it on a film screen because, I'd gone through my heart issues that year, and I wasn't able to make it to a few of the earlier ones. And my extended family, Christina and all of her family were there. And I got to see my dad like up there on this big, in this big theater on the screen, just being his beautiful, amazing, philosophical self and asking all the hard questions about, well, what are the kids going to think about this? And what's your real reason for wanting to do this? Again, on Father's Day, it was my first Father's Day without him. So it was pretty powerful. And you know what? This movie, and continues to do it, has really helped a lot of people. I had this young gay guy come up to me like in tears saying, you know what? You've shown me what's possible.
Yeah.
And I hope that one day when I find the man of my dreams, we know that a family's possible.
Yeah.
Like you've given that to me.
It's amazing.
And so that was just such a blessing.
Yeah. Why? I mean, why did you do it?
Well, again, I was always on the fence of whether I was going to have my own children. And you and I have talked about this before. I grew up in a really big house. My mother's life was her children. And I know things have changed a lot for women now. And I really just was like, I don't know if I'm ever going to do it for myself. I think you have that, either that burning yearning, or you have maybe that part of you that says, maybe that's not going to be my journey in life. And my dad in his words of wisdom, he's like, honey, don't do this for anybody else except for yourself. And I met a man, my husband, my amazing husband, I met him from, he's from Spain. I met him at the library. After I tried to make all the wrong ones be the right ones, he was the right one.
I was going to ask you how you met your husband.
Yeah, Santa Monica Library on a Sunday afternoon. So ladies, it's possible.
Was
when
he
you
living
least
here
expect
then,
it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He was living here. And again, I was out of this relationship and I was like, you know what? I have a great life.
Yeah.
Why do I keep trying to make the wrong guys be the right guys? So I was like, okay, universe, unless he falls from the sky, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to go live my life and just have a great life. And if it happens, it happens. And then he walks into the library in the courtyard. We were both waiting for the doors to open because I had no idea what time the doors opened. And again, I was not even going to go to the library that day. My water heater had sprung a leak, ruined my kitchen floor. I'm the worst decorator. I was like, please stop with that tile now. It's hideous. And I listened to the voice that was like, well, you need to go to the library today. I'm like, no, you need to go today. And then he walks in.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, well, he's kind of cute. Yeah, cutie patootie. So here I am off on this tangent again. So I met a man who, he was going to be okay either way with children or not. And then we both got really clear in that we had the boys. So we get to show up for family vacations, have a great time. Yeah. We don't have to pay for college.
Yeah.
Because you girls know how expensive that can be.
Totally. The best of both worlds.
The best of both worlds. And it was okay for us. And the minute that I got clear about that, it was like this big weight had been lifted. Because you guys are really coming up on it. And now, you guys can freeze your eggs.
Yeah.
Without them even being fertilized.
Yeah.
My girlfriend's starting this whole business around that.
Yeah.
Like helping these gals come out of college, put their eggs on ice and go do their career and come back 10 years later and say, oh, okay. Yeah. Maybe now.
Yeah.
So,
or not at all.
Or not at all.
We've talked about this, just like, who wrote that article about? Who was it? Like about what women are expected to do when women think that they need to get married and they think that they need to have kids.
Kate Hudson?
I think it was
on Huffington Post.
Was it Kate Hudson or was it Jennifer Aniston? And got like such a backlash from one genre.
Yeah.
She got very supported from another.
Yeah, but it's just bullshit. Like we can all do whatever we want. Like no one has to have kids. No one has to get married.
No.
You get to pick.
You guys, like women, I mean, I'm not going to go on the whole, like, we are women here as you are, but literally there's like, even my dad was like, honey, there's so many more choices.
Yeah.
You guys don't need to like leave your houses and marry men to go like be taken care of.
Yeah. No.
He's like, look what you've done.
Yeah.
Traveled the world. You've done this. You've done that. You were able to, get your own little bungalow in Santa Monica, have some success in your career and not have it all be about, well, I need to find a man to take care of me.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, and now it's time to have kids.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's your journey and that's what you want to do, by all means,
yeah.
go
but you
do it.
Feel guilty if that's not what you want to do.
Yeah.
No, and what
That's
you
the
don't
thing.
want to do
Totally.
is talk yourself into it. Because
Yeah,
I was trying to
exactly.
do that for a long time. And then feeling guilty that because I didn't want to do it.
Right. So the fact that you have to talk yourself into it kind of tells you that maybe it's not your route.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh. And honey,
I
you
want to
bring up-
read that book so badly.
You bring up a great point in that my mom always said, if you're questioning a decision, you probably don't want to go down that where that decision is going to take you.
Yeah.
It's so hard to like stick with that, what you say though, you know what I mean? Like stick with your gut. It's so hard.
But there again was where my meditation came in. It was like helping me get clear about who I am. And what I want and what I want my life to be. Like, we don't need to get into all of that. Like, oh, which life is this or blah, blah, blah. But I know I'm only having this experience once. So I want to make it all I can make it.
Yeah.
And not come from a place of like having any regrets.
Yeah.
We had a friend recently, and I'm not going to get too heavy on you guys, but really young guy who just passed away for no reason at all. And we all hear these stories, thank you, around us all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is your journey. When you wake up every morning, you have a choice to make this day be the best that it can be because none of us are promised any of it.
Yeah.
We think like things don't happen to us till we get older. But if you have a health issue,
that's the problem. It's like always looking to the future. Always like, well, I just got to get through now. It's going to happen. I'll be fine in 10 years. Like, I just got to get.
It's never going to be.
I don't want it to be like that anymore. I want every day to be, okay, I'm happy today. Right now is what I want to be.
Because all you have is today, you guys.
Yeah.
All you have is today. And if we can get that when we're like 22 and that, come on, how much more amazing and stress-free is your life going to be?
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, yes, I'm having a moment right now. This is not going to last forever, but who am I? What do I want? What is my purpose?
Yeah.
What am I grateful for? Those are all questions I ask myself before meditation every morning, because if we're going to get stuck in the wah, or tomorrow, well, listen, they say that a great way to be depressed is to focus on the past.
Yeah.
A great way to cause anxiety is to focus on the future.
That's so true.
A great way to be content and present and harmonious is to be in the present. And that whole cliche, they really call it the present because it truly is a gift. Well, there is something to be said about that.
Yeah.
Totally.
It's so liberating and freeing because you're just being in this moment.
Yeah. And I think like what you said about purpose, for me, I know like I was so depressed at the beginning of college, and I just remember feeling like I don't know my purpose. Like I just remember thinking that, and I was so scared of sitting down and really facing that question, like what is my purpose, because I didn't know the answer. And I was so afraid of it. You know, I think that's the problem. It's like we're afraid of like asking ourselves those questions.
Absolutely. And, listen, I admire both of you for the journeys that you're taking and having been there. But I think college is a whole different game now than it was.
Yeah.
With so many more added pressures and do
Yeah.
this and do that. But it is a time of finding yourself. And sometimes some of us find ourselves a little more quickly, and sometimes it takes some of us a little longer. I was on the longer path.
Yeah.
But there's no judgment.
Exactly.
The problem is when we start judging ourselves by where we think we should be or what we think we should be doing right now.
Yeah.
My career's changed. I'm not even doing what I was, thought I was going to be doing back in college.
Yeah.
So again, keeping it open.
Yeah.
And now I call it sketching. I tell myself, Angela, if you want to write that down, you write it down, but make sure it's in pencil.
Yeah.
So you can erase it and go back and say, that's changed for me.
I love that.
And not get so attached to, well, that's not on my list.
Yeah.
Or, actually it's funny because one of my dear college friends, we got together, and I've been practicing meditation for a while now. And she's like, one of my best friends, she's like, you're you, but you're not you. And I said, whoa, what does that mean?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, you're still you, but you used to be a little more high strung like I am. I said, sister, I'm going to get you a mantra.
Yeah.
It can happen for you. And it was right. I mean, other people started noticing it before I am. So I just honor you guys for what you're doing. And if there's any piece of advice, having been down that road, not totally exactly your roads, but the road less traveled oftentimes is a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And brings so much more opportunity.
Yeah.
And know that your road doesn't have to be anybody else's road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
You get to do
I love
it.
that.
That's one of the things you taught me. Like, it doesn't matter what anyone else is doing. Like, you're so in your own lane and just like,
That's amazing.
I'm gonna do what makes me happy. Like I feel like when I'm with you, I'm like in this little happy bubble.
I
And I'm
know.
like,
You're putting us on a high right
Yeah.
now. Like you're my cup of coffee this morning.
Oh, you guys.
Like you're so lucky to have this woman
I
for your
know,
entire
I
life, and I'm
am.
just having her for like an hour,
Yeah,
and it's
she's
like I feel
super-
like it's changing my life.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys.
No, you're so, yeah. I just love you so much.
I love you guys so much. And this has been so fun. I feel like I've been rambling on about this, that, and the
so
other.
valuable.
This
This is why I wanted to have you on, because
Yeah.
you just, every time I talk to you, you hit my heart. You hit it.
Aw.
And like, it's kind of like when I feel like I'm going crazy,
Mm-hmm.
I need to talk to you. So now,
Okay.
so now what are you doing?
So I am a full-time voiceover artist
Uh-huh.
because that agent that took me has become like my family as well. And I have this wonderful team around me.
Mm-hmm. And
here
what kind of voiceover?
So I do all kinds of stuff.
Uh-huh.
My bread and butter is television commercials,
Mm-hmm.
radio commercials. I do announcer stuff. I do like live shows. I do narrations. I do promos. I do trailers. I do
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And I feel so blessed to be at this point in my career. And again, I'm going to go back to, I don't think I'd be here unless I was meditating and getting really clear about what I wanted to create.
Yeah.
And I still teach meditation.
Yeah. Wait,
What?
I was just thinking, I remember being young and you coming over at Christmas and bringing us a CD that you had been on. And it was this really, I don't know what the music was. It was kind of.
Was it the folky spiritual rock CD?
Maybe. You were like 10, 9, 8.
Oh.
You like counted down.
Oh.
And you were just at the beginning of it. You just were counting down before they went into their music.
So
and I
this
just
is
played it over and
awesome.
over.
I'm glad you reminded me about that. Okay, so Desmond, my extended
Yeah.
family, Mr. Amazing music producer
Yeah.
man, was working with the Scorpions.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, and he was in the
Scorpions.
studio with the Scorpions. They were this band that was hugely popular, like back in the 80s and the 90s.
Yeah.
Nice.
And he said, Angela, I need you to do a voiceover for me. I'm in the studio in Santa Monica. Can you
Mm-hmm.
come in? And I said, sure. He goes, you just need to count for me.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. So I'm at the beginning. I'm the one that introduces the album. You can find it like on iTunes or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm basically, they're doing sort of like this cool riff in the beginning. And he's like, you just need to count back from 10. So I'm like, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, cut. I was like, what? He's like, it sounds like sex.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. He's like, do it again. 10, 9. Okay. I have to tell you, Desmond is a perfectionist.
Yeah.
Well, it's why he does what he does.
That's why he's so good.
He made me say 6 over like 20 times.
Yeah. Oh my
I'm like,
God.
dude, the first 6 sounds the same as the last
Yeah.
6.
Do you have different voices like that you use? Like, can you show us some different voices?
Okay, so you can be like, okay, let's do the diamonds, people. You know,
Okay.
diamonds for her, for now, forever.
Oh
Like,
my
you're like the
gosh.
diamonds lady, or you're like, I don't know. At Wellesley Hospital, we can take care of your baby right from the beginning. Like you can be like the mom.
Yeah.
Like
Oh my
motherly, or
God.
you can be like, my friend Bob, you know, I used to think he was like this great guy till we started going to 7-Eleven or, okay, I didn't pitch for 7-Eleven, but
Yeah.
you know, whether it's the girl next door
Yeah.
or the girlfriend or the mom
Yeah.
or the sexy lady or like, you know, at USC, we're doing clinical trials based on what's going on with your body, blah, 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 blah. Like all these
love
medical
it.
narrations.
How do you train for that? Like, did you have previous training, or was it mostly from singing that you're able to control your voice so much?
I think a little bit of all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really had official voiceover training. I mean, I've worked
Yeah.
with some amazing, I have a great, amazing guy, Jeff Howell, here in town that I go to occasionally to go in for a class for
Yeah.
a tune-up and kind of stay competitive because this
Yeah.
this voiceover business, like anything else, is constantly changing and ads change and reads change. And it used to be like really more like announcery, you know,
Yeah.
come to Starbucks or, you know, not
Yeah.
like that, but they want you to be a little more natural sounding and
Yeah.
just, so in the beginning, I really didn't. I was really fortunate in that I sort of had like a knack for it.
Yeah.
Kind of just came
It's just
easily.
natural.
Yeah. Now, had I stayed so focused on like, I'm meant to be a singer, I'm not
Yeah.
doing that voiceover stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe this never would have happened.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have a really important question.
Okay, ask it.
Okay. At the end of commercials, when they talk really fast, do they speed you up or do you talk that fast?
Actually, I talk that fast.
Really? Oh my God. Can you show us?
For importantly software and pricing details, not all customers will qualify. Yeah, so literally, sometimes they'll speed you up,
You didn't
but
even warm up for that.
I know. Oh my God. You were so ready for that. Oh,
hey, we've been warming up the whole last hour that we've been talking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do legals.
Oh my God. I'm
And
obsessed.
some people they can't do it. They can't do it that fast.
Yeah.
So
That's a major
it's kind
skill.
of nice. That's in my repertoire.
Yeah. Have
So
you
that-
ever done like auctions?
No, I don't do any of
I
that.
don't see you as an auction. You have such a like
Yeah.
sexy voice.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's the other thing too. I have what's called texture.
Texture. Okay.
So I have to be really careful because my voice tends to sometimes just sound sort of sexy when I'm not even wanting it to
Yeah.
sound sexy. So I
Yeah.
really have to sort of back off sometimes and be like, I have to go even more the other way so that it doesn't lean into. So one of the great things I'm doing now is I'm combining my passion for meditation with my voiceover passion. And I'm creating personalized meditation recordings for my
Yeah.
clients. And I have to be really careful because sometimes my meditation voice, and I'm not even meaning for it to happen like
Yeah.
that. It just gets really soothing and
Yeah.
soft. And then
It
it's
is
like,
so soothing. At the
thank
beginning
you.
of college, she gave me some CDs that you recorded for meditation. Do you remember this?
I don't know.
You gave me CDs. You recorded like meditation. I have it on my iTunes on my computer because you were like trying to get me into meditating.
Oh, I think so. Yeah. Yes.
And I would
with
like,
the chants and stuff on there.
Yeah. And I'm like, I honestly, part of me like couldn't even focus because I was like, couldn't believe it was you. I just kept thinking about I can't handle this. But then the other part was like so relaxing, and I wanted to like fall asleep, and I was like,
that's okay.
I don't even know.
You're so cute.
It's just such an interesting experience when I know
so
it's
cute.
you.
Oh my
Same with like
gosh.
when I hear you on a commercial, I'm like, wait, this is so weird.
Oh my gosh.
Are you friends with the Siri lady?
No, but this is a great story. So a lot of
I wish you were
we
Siri.
auditioned for that.
You did?
And we didn't find out till later because we all had to sign a confidentiality agreement.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then
That'd be kind of creepy though if you're a Siri. I don't know.
No, I know. I don't know.
Would you want to hear yourself?
Well, yeah, it's. I have to tell you, the first time I ever did hear myself when I landed this big hospital campaign in Arizona, and I was jogging around the reservoir, and I had back in the day when you had like these. You ran with your radio. Like you didn't even have like what we have now, right? It was like some radio. So I'm running around the reservoir, and all I hear is, at Mercy St. John Hospital, like da-da-da-da. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
that's me.
Oh my god.
And now I'm like, oh yeah, that's me.
That's so
I
funny.
don't ever take it for granted. I don't ever take it for granted. And I had an ad that was running constantly on Pandora for a while. And my husband runs a lot to Pandora, and he doesn't get the premium one. He gets the ones with all the commercials.
Yeah.
So he's like, amore, amore. That's what he calls me, amore. It's actually quite cute.
Yeah,
he says
you have to hear them talk to each other because it's so funny. Because because he's from Spain.
He's from Spain.
Yeah.
Do you speak Spanish as well?
Un poquito. Pero es muy importante para mí. Like, I really have to, in this one.
But he has a thick accent.
Oh, he has a thick accent.
Sometimes I can't understand him.
No, I know. It's gotten
he's
better.
So cute, and the way
He's
he
so
talks
adorable.
to him.
Oh
my god. It's so
my girlfriend's
cute.
like, I swear you married him for the entertainment value.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, dude, why else are you going to marry somebody?
Seriously.
Like at some point you got to like decide like, what do you want to roll with for the rest of your life?
Totally.
He's a ball of sunshine.
He is a ball of sunshine. Oh, he adores you.
Yeah.
But so he's like, I'm hearing your ad on Pandora like all the time. I'm like, he's like, are you getting paid for that? I'm like, so let's just keep hoping that they just play it. So it really is like, I have to pinch myself sometimes because I'm like, wow, I get to do this.
Yeah.
Like, this is what I get to do. And then part of me says, yeah, and you created that.
Yeah.
So if there's anything that I can put out there for you guys and everybody that's listening, is like, if you have a dream or if there's something that you inherently feel that you're good at, because we've all been given these amazing talents. I mean, look at you two. I'm like, if I had half of what was going on for me at your age, like, whoa, go do it.
Yeah.
And don't worry about the money.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to think of it like that way, but
Well, I've been talking to you about that. Yeah.
But when you do what you love, the money will come somehow, some way. And listen, I got to tell you, I've been around a lot of very famous and very, very incredibly wealthy people on my journey. And money's never going to make any of us happy. It might buy you a little more freedom to do the things that you love, but unless you have that inherent happiness from within, because let's be honest, all of this stuff outside of ourselves, that could be gone in an instant.
Yeah.
So if you don't have that connectedness and that place within that you can go to know that I'm going to be okay and everything's going to be okay,
Yeah.
none of this even matters. You're not taking any of it with you. I'm not trying to sound like, I'm your big older sister right now.
No, I love it.
And I'm trying to get really clear too for me in my life going, wow, because a lot of the stuff we do for voiceover now, it's in our own, I have a home studio. It's done out of my studio, and we have portable stuff that we travel with.
She literally
That's
goes in
awesome.
this claustrophobic closet in her kitchen. Literally, it looks like I feel like a torture chamber in there. It's so
it's
small.
awesome.
No, but it's really cool.
No, it
But I'm
is
just
small.
Like, you go in there, like it's so.
It's so
small.
perfect though. Between takes, I'm like rummaging through my fridge, like deciding what I'm going to eat like afterwards. And but that being said, like, again, I have my brother's building a house in Mexico. My mom and him are going to be spending a lot of time there. And I'm like, well, why not?
Yeah.
Why can't I be a voiceover artist that works out of a vocal booth in Baja, right?
Yeah.
Or why can't I now take my meditation students down there and like have some amazing retreat and do like whatever?
Yeah.
So we have to constantly, I think, keep checking in with ourselves and saying, what do I want now? But also like, follow your path, follow your dream, follow your bliss. What makes you happy?
Yeah.
What makes you happy? Because I'll tell you what, if you sign up for something that does not feed your soul, you're going to pay the price and the consequences for that later.
Totally.
Yeah. No, I'm so glad you said that, because I mean, we struggle with this every day, because
All the
everybody
time.
thinks that we're like psycho because of what
We're not
trying to
going
pursue,
on the
'cause,
traditional
Yeah, we're not trying
route.
to do a 9-to-5 business job, and we get so much crap about
But
it.
who's doing 9 to 5 anymore?
Well, that's the
Everyone.
thing. Yeah.
Mostly a lot of people that we.
No one's doing it.
The
anymore.
paradigm is shifting.
Yeah, but
totally.
everybody is still trying to start off on that path because they're afraid of doing something that's they don't know for sure where the money's going to come. You know, like they want something sure.
But even if you sign up for a 9 to 5, there's no it's not like back in the day, like you sign up and work for a company for 30 years.
right.
There's none of that.
Yeah, that's totally
You know,
true.
so just because you get a 9 to 5 doesn't mean you're just going to,
But
you
it
know?
also goes back to the thing where people they're scared to figure out what their purpose is and pursue it. So it's like, I feel like, especially people our age, a lot of times they just don't know what they would want to do.
Yeah.
You know, and they don't take the time to sit back and think,
What
do
are
I
your
really
strengths?
want?
What are your
But
weaknesses?
know that what
right?
you choose now might change.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Like,
yeah.
come on. Mine has changed 4 or 5.
Exactly.
And like, you know, from singer lady to I want to do this or I want to pursue that. So life's going to unfold.
Yeah.
To think that you're going to be doing the exact same thing now that you're going to be doing 20 years from now.
Is ridiculous.
Is ridiculous.
Yeah, nobody. Yeah, I mean, we learned this in school. My professor was like, it doesn't even make sense because we live so long now. You're gonna have like 5 careers.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
If things change, great. Okay, it can change. It's not a big
And
deal.
change is good, but that's the other
Yeah.
thing too, is you can't be afraid of change. It's that whole thing of like the fear factor that comes in again.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, I don't want to live like that.
Yeah.
But so you have to do those things for you. Meditation worked for me. And I don't push it on anybody. If somebody asks, you know, how did this come into your life or whatever, I'm like, I attribute it to me getting really clear and feeling good about myself and the choices that I was making. And how did that happen? Because I was filling up myself on the inside out. And I wasn't looking to what was going on around me. I was like getting in touch with, you know, my core being.
Yeah.
So that's what, you know, worked for me.
Yeah.
We've been in college for more than 3 years and taken so many different classes, but I think today you've given us like the best lessons. Like,
I know.
Oh,
you know?
Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, my ego is going to be this big if I allowed it to be, but I just take that in on a very heartfelt level, and thank you for that. And I also feel that this is, you know, my way of giving back kind of thing. Not like been there, done all that, but like, hey, if I could just help, you know, one person maybe spark a thought or have them think about something differently to help them in some way, shape, or form. That's why the twins was such a journey for me.
Yeah.
If people are there CDs that you make?
Yeah,
or
so okay,
the
so
recordings?
don't go yet, but go shortly. I'm redoing my website right now.
Okay.
And there's going to be lots of videos on there because since my husband's a filmmaker, like, duh, how long did it take for that light bulb to go off for me?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to put up some videos and my clients that want personalized meditation recordings. And there's a lot of stuff that's pre-recorded. And it's going to be like going to iTunes. It's like, oh, I want that beach meditation for $1.99 or whatever. I haven't figured out the price point, but it's going to be really cheap.
Okay.
So you can all afford it. So yeah, my meditation website is Harmony in Me.
Okay.
Harmony
We'll
in Me.
link it.
Yeah.
So
Oh, thank you.
click on it. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Maybe we should have this run like a month from now after it's done.
Oh my god.
We'll come back. You can come back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you want to check out my voiceover stuff, it's AngelaWhitaker.com. I'm having to keep things separate now because I realized, you know, you can't just go to one place and be like, blah, like it's all like this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been kicking and screaming, surrendering to this whole social media thing.
We were talking about this.
She can help you with that.
I know she's really helped me get clear and compartmentalize
But you're
stuff.
so good because you just don't want to be a part of it.
No.
And I wish I could just not be a part of it.
Sometimes I separate myself, like physically from
you have but I think in this day and age you have to be a little bit of a part of it, which Christina's helped me with, like, you know, Auntie Angie, because she's the only one that gets to call me that. You have to be a little bit of a part of it, but I don't want it to be like this. I've seen it get really like unhealthy, and I know that won't be for me. But I also I'm sort of a private person. I know this sounds really weird because I
Yeah.
had friends that are like, well, you were in a movie, you did this, you did
you
that.
are private, and you're also simple. It's so interesting. Do you know what I'm saying? Like the way you live is so. You crack me up.
Why?
Because I feel like you live this like high roller lifestyle without the celebrities, and you're like you're announcing at festivals and doing CD, and then I like go to your house and you're sitting there like, I stole these plants from the trash can.
I didn't steal them. I just took them. They were going to go to the trash anyway. Don't think I'm a stealer.
I bought this. I'm not buying any clothes now unless it's used clothes, and like
I love it.
like like just all your
You are
deals,
so
all your
adorable.
deals, no microwave.
Oh, this is so cute.
She's just so simple. Like
I love it. It's a good balance.
Yeah. I love it.
Thank
it's like,
you for that
I go
reflection.
over to Angela's house and it's like straight up like tea out of the kettle, and like I just like, I love this, and we just sit on the couch and
Oh, honey, thank you. That makes me
I
feel
love
really
it.
good
Yeah.
because I've really tried to create that.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Like I've really tried to be like, okay, the work is the work. And like, but I don't want to be all caught up in the whole like not really busy, but sort of like, I want to take the positive aspects of the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get frayed by the stuff that could really take me down the spin cycle.
Totally.
You know?
I feel like that industry is so tough.
Yeah.
I mean, it can
And
be.
cutthroat, and people get really caught up and wrapped in like, I can't even.
Yeah, so I guess I've created this environment that sort of kind of takes me away
Yeah.
I like
from that. And yeah, listen, a great afternoon for me is like 2 hours between jobs and I'm on my bicycle headed to the beach.
Nice.
You know, with my cup of tea and my little holder and the sun's coming out and you know.
Your inside out yoga pants.
Okay, I have inside out. Okay, for like 2 years
funniest-
and I still do it. Like
Oh my god.
well, you know, when I was on those blood thinners for a while after my heart surgery, like the seams on your clothing would drive me bonkers. They
really bother
because my
her.
skin was so sensitive.
Yeah.
Like my poor body was just like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I know, I'm sorry. I have to
She
take
wears
this.
them inside out.
Okay. And Christina would be
And I'm
like,
what are you doing?
what are you doing? I had this little old lady. She wasn't old. Okay. She was just older.
Yeah.
In my yoga class, be like, honey, you know, your pants are on inside out. And I'm like, yeah, my shirt is too. Oh, you're right. It is. And I'm like,
Reminds me of something you would do, Nina. That's why it cracks me up. You guys are so similar to me.
oh my gosh.
When is your
Nina,
birthday?
I'm an end of April.
So are you an Aries?
I'm an April Taurus.
Okay, April Taurus.
How
I'm a
about you?
Sagittarius.
Oh, I get along good with Sagittarius.
I
Both of
feel
my
like-
sisters are Sagittarius.
Okay, I thought you were a Sagittarius.
Oh, interesting.
Because that's like the wild child of like the...
Okay, I'm gonna have to give you all my rising, coexisting signs and have you figure that out for me.
There's a book called The Secret Language of Birthdays, and it's very accurate.
She's been telling me about it. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to find. I'm always interested
I
into
know.
new information, you know, that's
Yeah.
coming my way to
Yeah.
help me, you know, get more
Oh my gosh.
like open to what's out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you teach classes in person too, right?
Yes. So I used to have a studio. When I lived in Nashville, I had a studio called House of Bliss. A great gal that I worked with for years. But I was coming back to California. She was doing something. And so we sort of closed the doors on that. So I don't work out of a studio per se anymore. Although I have a studio. We live in a little bungalow and we have a little bungalow next to me. It's kind of become like my little work kind of studio area that I teach out of. I go to people's homes privately to teach them as well. Like meditation is my glue.
Yeah.
It's my glue. It's what keeps my life together. And so students find me. And now with just the internet and what you guys are doing, which is so fun and so great. And I can't thank you enough for having me today. People can get on their computer and they can get access to all kinds of stuff they didn't have access to before. So I'm really trying to step up my game.
Yeah. I'm gonna get you out there.
You are, sister.
Take over your life.
Okay, I love it. I need help, seriously.
She's
Yeah.
a publicist.
I know. I'm
For sure.
hiring her.
Yes, please do. I need
Yeah.
money.
Okay, let's make it happen. So, you know, that way somebody can, you know, my cousin now is like, well, when are those videos coming out? Because I really want to, you know, get into this. And so we're making that happen. You'll be able to get online. And like I said, you can practice these anytime, anywhere. You can be anywhere in the world. And again, I think meditation is the greatest gift that anybody can give themselves. I believe that a meditation journey gets you in touch with the most important person that you will ever meet in your life.
Yeah.
That's yourself.
Yes.
I'm really excited for that.
You know, happy to take you guys down this journey. Why don't we do that? Why don't we get you guys practicing primordial sound meditation?
I want to.
Yes.
And
You have
so
me
then
so
you
inspired.
can, you know, start that aspect of nurturing yourself on a really deep level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We're very
gosh.
lucky to have you today. And
Yeah.
I think you've helped a lot of listeners.
Yeah.
Wow.
I feel like, you changed my life every time I talk to you.
Oh
Yeah.
my
I
gosh.
swear.
You're so lucky.
I'm
lucky to have her.
I'm so lucky to
I
have
am
you
lucky.
guys. Thank you so much for
my
just
God.
allowing me to come in today and talk.
No.
No, everything that you said was so much substance and more than like what my professors would ever say.
I know. You need to, they don't have meditation class at UCLA.
No, they
They
don't.
need to you need to do that.
Yeah.
You need to teach it.
You could
Let's
start
do
a
it.
revolution.
Let's do it. Let's have this be the new revolution.
Yeah, the
so
new
we're
revolution.
my dad used to laugh. He's like, you know, back in the 60s, they were taking drugs to do this. And I'm like, yeah, now you just have to close your eyes and think a mantra.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah,
Oh my God,
so,
that's hilarious.
yeah.
Well, it's so funny because I could talk to you for hours. You were so.
Well, hopefully you'll have me back sometime.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
want
a
you
part
back.
2 would be
Yeah,
definitely
let's do it.
wanted.
Maybe we'll do like a little podcast series.
Yeah.
We can come up with like a
Yeah.
topic. If people show interest in different things that they want to talk about, we
Yeah.
can hone in on those instead of it, you know, being about, you know, what I've experienced in my journeys and, you know,
Yeah.
go that way.
It could be like an Ask Angela.
Oh, I love.
Because, like, you know,
You guys are so cute.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions or anything specifically that stood out to you in this episode, definitely send it in so we know.
Yeah.
I want you back for sure. 'Cause
Thank you for having
Every time
me.
I talk to you, I just.
Well, you guys are brighting my day. I'm so proud of both of you.
Thank
Stay
you.
true to your heart. Stay true to what you really want to do.
Oh my God.
It'll happen.
Yes, it will. Especially with I'm doing it. You're gonna teach me.
Yeah, we're going to get you guys meditating.
Yes. Okay, you're
Okay.
the best. All right.
you guys.
Well,
Thank you.
thank you everybody for listening. I really hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did. It was amazing. If you haven't already, please subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher. Please leave a rating and a review. It really helps us out and helps get the word out about us. And also, if you enjoy the show, please tell your family, your friends, your professors, your cousins, your dogs, everyone, your Uber drivers. Tell your Uber drivers. We found that's the best way.
my
Yes,
gosh.
That's the best way to get the word out.
hilarious.
Yeah, the Uber drivers. That's it. So, yeah, just help us out. And thanks for listening, and we will talk to you again next week.
Thanks so much, guys.
Bye.
Bye.